Hi guys, today I am super excited because I have created my own book tag. It's the Alice in Wonderland book tag. I'm in a new location because this is my Alice in Wonderland book collection and I thought I should probably do it here. I also have on my Alice in Wonderland and TARDIS t-shirt. Alice in Wonderland is my favorite book. I fell in love with the Disney adaptation when I was a kid. I thought it would be really fun to do a tag based on Alice in Wonderland characters. I haven't found any other tags that have to do with Alice in Wonderland. There are 10 questions in this tag. I will leave the questions in the description below, along with all of the books that I mentioned. For all the questions, I tried to get a quote from the book and mesh it with a question that fit the character. So the first question is an Alice quote, and it's, "And what is the use of a book without pictures or conversation?" The first question is a book with pictures in it, and I chose The Arrival by Shawn Tan. This is absolutely adorable. It has no words in it. It is all pictures. Let's see if I can show this. And you would think that you couldn't get a story out of this without words, but it's amazing and it was so good. I loved this book. I highly recommend this one. Question 2 is The Mad Hatter and the March Hare, and their quote is, "Why is a raven like a writing desk?" And it is your favorite riddle from a book. And I didn't think that there were any, but I Googled it and I found that there are quite a bit of books that have riddles in them. So if you want to just Google it, if you can't think of a riddle book, then you can Google it. I chose The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Obviously there is a whole scene of riddles in this where Smeagol and Bilbo are just playing like a game of riddles. I think they're hilarious, and I've read this a few times and I still can't get the answers for the riddles right. You'd think I could remember this, but I don't. Even the movies, I still can't figure out the riddles, and then I realize what they are once they tell me. But I just really like the riddles in this book. I think they're really funny. Okay, the next one is The Cheshire Cat. And of course, his quote is, "We're all mad here." And the question I chose for this one was a book that takes place in an asylum. I really like books that take place in asylums. I think they're kind of creepy. So I chose Shutter Island by Dennis Lehane. This is a fantastic asylum-themed book. I highly recommend this one. Really creepy, and if you really like asylum books, definitely check this one out. The next one is The White Rabbit, and his quote is, "I'm late." The question for this one is a book that you were late to the party, read, or what you want to read. There's a lot for me on this one because there's a lot of books that I didn't read that were very popular. Like I could say Harry Potter because I just read it last year, I think, so that would be very late to the party, but I wanted to change things up because I think most of my questions could be Harry Potter answered, along with everyone else I've noticed. So I chose Amulet by Kibuishi. This came out, I think it was like 2008, so it was a long time ago, but I really liked this series. I know that a lot of people read this before me, so I was really late to this party, and I really liked this graphic novel. Next is The Queen of Hearts, and her quote is, of course, "Off with their heads." And the question for this one is a character that you wanted to kill off. I didn't want to choose this because every time I mention it, I'm afraid I'm just going to lose subscribers and get a lot of hate comments. But I really couldn't think of anything that was a character that I wanted to kill off because this character, and I'm sure you know it if you watched any of my other videos, that I wanted to kill this character off from the beginning. The entire time I was wishing that he was going to get killed off, and I knew he wasn't because he's the main character, and that is Harry Potter. I just really can't stand him, and I've mentioned it before, so I won't go on and on about it, but I couldn't come up with another question. But if I was in charge of killing someone off, it would have been Harry Potter. The next one is The Caterpillar, and his quote is, "Who are you?" which was extremely hard for me to find a question for this one, but then I thought maybe a character that you can relate to would be a good one for this one. And You can choose a character that you can relate to, or the author. Like, I thought of Miranda Hart. I can really relate to her, but she's not a character. So you can choose anyone you want for this question, but I chose The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. She doesn't go by Sylvia Plath in the book. I don't remember what her name is. I could really relate to her in this book, which is why I marked so many things in it. Just everything that she said, I was like, yeah, that's me, exactly. So I chose The Bell Jar. Next one I did was Tweedle Dee and Tweedle Dum, and they have a quote in it that is, Tweedle Dee and Tweedle Dum agreed to have a battle. They had a battle, and one of them spoiled their rattle or something. So I decided to do a book with a battle scene or a fighting scene, whatever you can come up with. I personally don't like battle scenes in books. I find them to be very boring and I could just skip right over them. I know that there's a lot of fantasy books that have them and people probably like them, but I don't. I chose The Hobbit for this one again. I didn't mind this battle. It didn't end well. If you've read it, you know, but my battle scene would probably be The Hobbit. The next one is The Walrus and The Carpenter, and their quote, I cannot read my handwriting, so I'm going to find it in one of my books. There's just so many to choose from here. And the quote is, "It seems a shame," the walrus said, "to play them such a trick, after we've brought them out so far and made them trot so quick." The question for this one is a character that you thought was good but turned out to be bad, and you're gonna have to say spoilers on this because obviously there's going to be a spoiler on this one. I chose one that is a spoiler, but it's been out for so long that you probably should know it already, but I'm going to say spoiler anyway, and that is Mr. Wickham from Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I really liked Mr. Wickham in this. He did turn out to be bad in the end, but I thought it was a really good character in this book. The next one is a question for the White Knight. So his quote, he's talking about a story that he wants to tell, and she asks if it's very long, and he says, "It's long, but very beautiful. Everybody that hears me sing it either brings the tears into their eyes or else." And then it goes on and on. But I thought a good question for this one would be a book that brought you to tears, something that made you cry, which apparently I'm very emotional when it comes to books, so I could choose a lot of these. I chose The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman. I really enjoyed this book. Definitely made me cry at the end. I can't remember much of what happened in this book because it's been a while since I read it. I probably should reread it, but this one I know made me cry. The next one is not a character, it is actually Lewis Carroll. Lewis Carroll is actually his pen name. His real name is Charles Ludwig Dodgson or something like that. So the next question is an author that writes under a pen name that maybe you didn't know, because I googled mine to find one that I didn't know, and I can't believe how many authors write under a pen name. The one I chose is Anne Rice. That is not her name. I did not know that. Her name, surprisingly, you wouldn't know this, is Howard Allen Francis O'Brien. That has nothing to do with Anne Rice. I don't know how she came up with that name. Yeah, I thought Anne Rice was a really strange one. Okay, that was my Alice in Wonderland book tag. I am going to tag a few people. I'm not friends with very many people, so I don't know if they will actually get the tag, but I'm going to tag you anyway. If you are not tagged, please feel free to do this, because I want to see how many Alice in Wonderland fans there are on the internet. I have found quite a few already. I will do an Alice in Wonderland bookshelf tour. I know that they are all the same book, but I'm sure you want to see my collection. Everything will be in the description below. People I tagged will also be down there because I'm going to have to come up with a list really fast. And all of my links to my social media will be down there. If you do this tag, please tweet me or comment or just something that I can find out that you did it, because I'd really like to see this spread around YouTube, because I thought it was a really fun idea. I hope you enjoyed this. I had a really fun time making this tag. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this, like the video, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.